Not me having talked to the camera for at least 3 minutes before I realized it wasn't recording. But hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. And welcome to my first vlog of Winterween. If you're not familiar, Winterween is an annual readathon hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads. She also has Summerween, which I think came first, but Winterween is a week-long readathon where we try to bring this spooky into a different season, and I'm excited. If you want to check out my TBR, you can check that out below, where I go through all of the plans and such. But today is day one. Today is January 10th, and I'm excited because I had a goal to finish the 2 books that I was currently reading before the start of Winterween. And she did it. So, thought I'd give you just a brief overview of those 2 books before we dive in to the actual TBR for Winterween. Our first book, I talked about this in my reading vlog, which I'll also post down below, from Wednesday, and that is The Rebound by Catherine Walsh. It is a contemporary romance set in Ireland, in a small village in Ireland, and we have our character Abby, who in the span of a month loses her fiance. Doesn't lose him, he breaks up with her. Fiance breaks up with her and she loses her job, and basically she works at a bank and she put all of her savings and everything into this bank, and so she also lost all of her money. And so she goes home and she's not quite upfront with everybody about why she's going home, and she is staying with her sister and her sister's husband, and her sister are a little estranged. They fight a lot. And she also runs into a guy named Luke, and Luke actually is her neighbor, but she doesn't realize it's him at first because he had a bit of a Neville long-bottoming moment. He long-bottomed, if you will, glow up or what have you. And honestly, I talked about this in the reading vlog. This book, for the most part, I felt like was more about Abby's journey first and then the romance second. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It's fine. So 3 stars. Still good. Next book that we finished right before Winterween is Tale as Old as Time, the Twisted Tales version of Beauty and the Beast. And I give this 3.5 stars, which doesn't sound I feel sometimes I feel bad giving books 3 or 3.5 stars because that means you liked it. You enjoyed it, you had a good time. It just isn't your favorite books, you know what I mean? But compared to, now I'm thinking back to Mirror Mirror, and I almost want to go back and give Mirror Mirror 1 star because I liked this book so much more than Mirror Mirror, which was the Snow White version of A Twisted Tale. This really gives a lot of lore to Beauty and the Beast and the story, and it got a little dark at the end, FYI. There are some darker themes in this book, so I would check content warnings because by the end I was like, whoa, we got it, okay. But I do think it actually added a lot to the story of Beauty and the Beast. If Disney wanted to do a version of A Twisted Tales, in Beauty and the Beast, but maybe not for kids, I think this would be excellent because I think it really made some of the magical elements make more sense in this world and just really added a lot to Belle and the Beast story. So I am so glad that this was this was a success for sure compared to Mirror Mirror. So I'm looking forward to picking our next book in the book club for that. But that is our updates for those. Those are not part of Winterween, but I thought I would tell you because I was pretty proud. I need to update my 2 reading journals today for those 2 books here. So I need to update those. I had mentioned in my TBR I plan on reading The Tainted Cup first, but I think it's going to be in tandem because that's the book I'm supposed to read at night or in the dark. And it is neither night or very dark right now. So we have to look at some other books to read. I think perhaps I might pick up the Witch Knot. Oh, not the witch. I took a word out. I might pick up the Witchwood Knot first because it is one of the longer of the 5 works that I chose. Longer by being like, it's typical book length. Actually not too long. Only like a little over 300 pages. So a nice, decent sized book. I'm still waiting for Carrie to come in to my local library, so I can't start that. And then in addition to that, I have a audiobook that finally came in on Libby, and I've been waiting for it for a while. So I think that I'm also gonna add this in as like an extra read for Winterween, that just to kind of like have in the background, especially while I'm cleaning and doing other things, driving and such this week. And that is the Hitchcock. I've had so much trouble with this book multiple times. Okay, The Hitchcock Hotel by Stephanie Warble. Oh, Storygraph has changed their stuff. Look. The UX design has completely changed on this. So interesting. Okay, anywho, so the description of this, we'll just read like the blurb, is a Hitchcock fanatic with an agenda invites old friends for a weekend to stay at his secluded themed hotel in this fiendishly clever, suspenseful new novel from international best-selling author of Darling Rose Gold. Yeah, so sounds fun. It's a hotel, but like spooky hotel, haunted house. I feel like we're going the same vibes, you know? So I thought since I got this finally, I had been in line for so long, that I would also add this as like the 6th spot on my TBR to just have, you know, I like having that space filled. So I thought I would add that in so we can listen to that throughout the week. It's not super long. This is like 10 hours, so it's really not that long of an audiobook either. And again, I think it'll really go with the theme. I feel like it matches and might as well. There are 8 people waiting for it, so I do want to read it and not miss my spot. So I thought I would add that in. But yeah, that is our update. So I do think I'm gonna start with the Witchwood Knot today. It's one of those paperbacks that has like that really like nice dense feeling with like the matte paper. I just really like this paperback. Like I'm all about it. So I do want to start this one, start off our little Gothic reading series. I did think about rereading Northanger Abbey for Winterween because I was like, oh my gosh, it would fit perfectly in with this kind of Gothic theme that I chose for Winterween. Also, I thought I'd wear this for Winterween. I do not have one of Gabby's lovely sweaters. I would love one, but we are trying to be good about our budget. So I did that. I'm just rambling now. I'm gonna update my Storygraph. My Goodreads is already updated because both books were on my Kindle, and then update Fable, and then update my reading journals. And then, I don't know, I might write for a little bit. I haven't decided. I'm feeling a little aimless today, but I'll check in with you at some point too. It is dark now, so I will be making a move, even though these candles help a little bit. There we go. I feel like it's like, are you afraid of the dark right now? But Pumpkin and I are sitting here with our fake fire on the monitor, and I just read, look at this bookmark. My mom gave it to me for Christmas. It is pretty funny, to be honest. But I just finished the first chapter of the Witchwood Knot, and I'm enjoying it thus far. It is obviously set in kind of a Gothic house setting. Clearly there are fairies. I don't know the world previously, so apparently... Oh. Trust. Oh, God, stop. I think the flickers of the flames are throwing this off. The fairies, there seems to be like a shifting going on, which would make sense from like the Regency series into this one, where there's like more science based, which would go along with it moving into the Victorian era. And so our main character, Winnie, is actually some kind of magical practitioner. But it seems like there's kind of a backlash against magical practitioners, but she knew the dowager of this family who has asked her to come and, Pumpkin is rubbing her head against my leg, telling me to stop talking. The dowager knew her as a little girl, and I guess was, you know, kind of, what's the word? Sponsoring her. Because it seems like her and her sisters might have been orphans, and she knows that she is a practitioner, and so she wants her to protect her grandson when he comes for the summer until he can go back to school, so he won't get entrapped by this manor. However, as the back of the book says, clearly that is not going to go Winnie's way right away. I think she's an interesting character. Mr. Quincy we've met already, who's also in the back of the book. He's this butler, but clearly is a fairy. Seems to kind of give the Wendell vibes if you've read Emily Wells's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Maybe a bit more mischievous and unclear as to what his goals are. And it's another interesting thing is she has a cat skull and the ghost of a cat that like stays with them. It's very interesting. Little ghost cat is kind of cute. So that's where we're at. The chapter is a little long. This went to like page 29. But I figured I'd stop there because, like I said, the lights, it is dark. And as cute as these are not as effective as my reading light. And this isn't the book that we're reading at night. That is The Tainted Cup. So we'll probably pick this one back up tomorrow, but The Tainted Cup we'll start reading tonight. So successful thus far. We shall see. It is Saturday. There we go. It is Saturday, January, what day? 11th, January 11th, and we have finished our first book of Winterween. That is the Witchwood Knot by Olivia Atwater. A little bit about this. I hope I didn't read through it too fast. The one thing I will say, I don't know why this kept happening to me. So Mr. Quincy is like one of the main characters, right? He is this mysterious fairy type butler who our main character Winnie encounters very early on in the story, and they are quite tangled up with one another and form a wary alliance at first. But she has a cat named Oliver who is delightful. He's actually a ghost cat and possibly my favorite character in the story. And for some reason, the names Oliver and Quincy were really throwing my brain for a loop. Couldn't tell you why. But I loved this. I was gonna give it, at first I don't know, I think I'm settling at 4 stars. And I think I may have to come and reread this at some point in time because, as I mentioned, this is not her first series in this world. So the first series in this world was the Regency Fairy Tales, which starts with Half a Soul, then 10,000 Stitches, and then Long Shadow. And I will say, for anybody who's not read that, this book does spoil some things from those books, I'm assuming, just going off of some of the fairy tales that Winnie tells. There are like a couple chapters where she gives you like a fairy tale that she tells, and they seem to be stories of the main protagonists from that series. So, looking back, probably should have read those first, but it's fine. I think that it'll make doing a reread of this later really fun, especially because she said that Wuthering Heights was kind of the inspiration for this book in a way. And so I think when I read Wuthering Heights this year, it'd be fun to go back and read this book. Even though I've watched one of the movies, so I know the story. It's been a long, long time. But I think it would be fun to like revisit this book at that point in time. But yeah, I'm going to give it 4 stars, I think. And I'd be curious to see once I've read the first series if I would come back and appreciate things more. I really did love... So this is pitched as like romance, and there is a romance in this book, but I would definitely say this errs on the side of fantasy with romance opposed to a romantasy. Like, I forget who said this, and I think it's such a good gauge for how to judge what a book is, whether it's romantasy or fantasy romance, and I think it's clear. Maybe it was Kayla from Books and Lala, possibly, or Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. One of them said, I'm pretty sure, that how you can tell is if you took the book's story, the main plot, and took the romance out, would the plot still stand? And I think overall, the answer to that is yes. The plot would still stand in this book for the most part. Like, you could turn the romance into a friendship, into an alliance, and I think that the plot would still stand without the romance. This is definitely not super spicy, so I think if you like slow burn romances that, you know, don't go too deep into that with like fun world building and you like a Gothic manor, I would recommend this book a lot. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd be curious to see if I would change my stance on giving it 4 stars after reading the first 3 in the Regency Fairy Tales. So I'm going to plan on posting this on Sunday. So I got to do some quick edits at some point. Go ahead and update stuff. As you saw, I did sprints earlier with me, like just me and my BFFs, Gabby and Gavin and Jan, obviously. But I was participating in the sprints earlier, and while we were taking our breaks, why am I so far away? I started coloring everything in the journal, and I thought that was really fun. So I just started adding like more colors to them. So I'm enjoying that. I thought it was a fun way to keep my hands busy while I was listening on the sprints. But yeah, hooray, first book done. I gotta get to editing. So thanks so much for watching. If you're participating in Winterween, feel free to let me know what books you are starting or what books you finished already. And if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stick around for more Bookish Knitters content, I upload every Wednesdays and most Sundays. And I will be posting another Winterween video on Wednesday and possibly a wrap on Friday, so we shall see about that. But until next time, I hope you read a good book, I hope you find some joy, and most importantly, I hope you do something to make the world a better place, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye!